What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Vapor Realm. Clifford here again. So happy you guys are all back here. And today, we're looking at an awesome clearomizer, and that is the Kanger Pro Tank 3 dual coil, bottom dual coil. Very, very sweet device. First, let's just open up the box to show you what you get with it. First, here on the side is the identification number. And you can scratch it off and it'll show you the number down there. You can go onto Kanger's website and put in that code, and it can tell you if it's an official Kanger product, so you know you're not getting a copy or something from a different company. And I already looked it up, and it is, which is really cool that you're able to do that. A lot of bigger e-cig companies are doing that so that you know you're getting an official product. So this just slides out here, and inside you have your tank, which you can see I've already filled up because I've already been using it. And I can get everything out of here. A beauty ring, one of just the regular curved beauty rings, and an extra coil head, nice and handy. And the actual tank. The tank looks pretty much identical to the Kanger Pro Tank 2, however, on the front here it says Pro Tank 3, and obviously the coil is a dual coil as opposed to a single coil. Other than that, though, very similar. It has a glass Pyrex actual tank on it, all metal, really, really shiny. But you know, it's not bad with fingerprints though. Even though it is really shiny, it doesn't seem to you can't see them super well, so that's not an issue. And it just feels nice. It's got some weight to it. Everything is really smooth. It just feels like a quality piece. I just like the feel of it in my hand. The drip tip is removable. Comes with a metal one, with a little well in there to hold any extra e-juice that may come up. I like the drip tip, except on mine, I don't know if you can see this. It wiggles a little bit. So I put it, and I can feel it when I have it in my mouth. I don't know if you can hear that, but I can feel it and hear it wiggling around. So that I don't like so much. I wish when everything else looks this nice and feels this sturdy and solid, I wish this wouldn't happen. I've looked at other reviews for these, and some people had said that theirs were like this and moved around, but some people were saying that theirs worked fine, and I've seen some people that it was hard to get it in and out. And so there's clearly some variability with these drip tips. So I mean, I've seen some that were, you know, way too easy to pull out, like holding it like this and it would fall out, and then some that are just really stuck in there. So I don't know if it's the actual machining or if it's just these O-rings that have some variability in them, but something to be aware of. Even with that, though, that there's not an no issue with the seal. I haven't had any leaking from it. Just not quite right. But other than that, though, really, really, really nice tank. If you're worried about having a metal drip tip, I'd always used plastic in the past, and this was actually my first metal drip tip. And you know, I was first worried about, you know, chipping a tooth or not liking the hard metal, but I really don't mind it at all. I've noticed I don't really put my teeth on the drip tip anyways. I don't know why I thought I would do that, but I don't. And so it just kind of feels nice that it's metal. But, you know, that's personal preference. As you can see down at the bottom, you do have two little slits for air, as well as on the 510 connection, there are a couple air holes. I think there's 3 air holes on there. So, plenty of airflow. But now that we're talking about airflow, it's almost a little too much airflow, and I think that's pretty common with a lot of these Pro Tanks. Is a lot of people, which is more of a personal preference thing, but they do have a slightly airier draw than others. But the beauty ring helps with that, and I'll get into that in a second when we start vaping it. But I guess we should do that now. Yeah, yes, let's definitely vape now. So I'm gonna throw it on the MVP. So we can you know, read the resistance on these coils. I think they're supposed to be like, you know, 1.8 to 2.2, or about a 2 ohm coil. let's see here. So yeah, 2 ohm coil, that makes sense. Of course, you don't have to use it with the butying ring, but what I have found is that for me, as it is a too much of an airy draw. Totally vape's fine. There's nothing wrong with it, but for me it's too airy. So what you can do is, so you can see there's a slight gap between the base of the pro tank and the top of the beauty ring, and that's letting more air in. So what I like to do is put my beauty ring on, put the pro tank on, and then screw the beauty ring up as if you were going to screw it off. That way it makes full contact with the bottom of the pro tank. So that gap is now gone. And that decreases the airflow just enough. There's still, as you can see, slits there. So they're still getting plenty, but it decreases it just enough. Gives a slightly tighter draw that I like a little bit better. But let's go ahead and vape it. Delicious. I think that was the first thing that I noticed after hitting this, was just the flavor I got from it. This isn't my first dual coil. I've used an Aspire BDC before, and so I was prepared for a warmer vape, and I was already ready for that. But man, the flavor out of this was way better than the flavor I got out of the Aspire. Maybe I'll do like a little battle review over those later, but just for this one, the flavor is great. It's also not loud. And I guess that's pretty common with most cleros. After using cardos for a while, cardomizers, you can hear. It's very loud crackling, but this is just a very quiet. There's maybe some occasional slight cracking, but very, very little. It's a very quiet and smooth pull and drag on it. You do get a warmer vape with the dual coils. One, I think, common misconception with a dual coil is that with 2 coils in there, you're going to get twice the flavor and twice the smoke and twice as good of a vape, which is, kind of what I was thinking when I first got a dual coil, which is just definitely not true. It would be nice, but that's just not quite how it is. The vapor production compared to a single coil is maybe a little bit better. It's definitely a little bit better, but not twice. But the flavor, I think, is the big deal, and it's definitely better, considerably better off of a dual coil. Just to do a comparison, I have a Bogue 510 cardo and a tank, so I'll do a little vapor test just to show you the kind of the difference in vapor. Let's see. Awesome. And now let's put on the Bogue, which is, of course, a single coil, also bottom coil, single, and as compared to the dual coil on the Pro Tank, just to show you that not a whole lot of difference in the vapor quantity. But of course, out of a cardo, just the flavor is not as much as I get out of this Pro Tank. This is just delicious. Right now, I have a sweetened coffee flavor that's just outstanding. Another really nice thing about these is I haven't had any issues with leaking. I left this tank for about a day and a half sitting sideways on a table, not a drop out of it. Even with this slightly movable thing, like there's just nothing coming out of here at all, which is great. No damage to your device at all. I know it's a bottom coil, so on some of my other bottom coils, I've had issues with flooding before, and the juice I have in here is a 70 PG 30 VG. And so it's a pretty thin e-juice, but I have had no issues with flooding at all in this device. I've seen other reviews where people were complaining of constant flooding, almost unusable, and I just don't know what they're doing. Maybe they just have their device is somehow messed up, or they've just got some extremely thin EGs, but even then, I just haven't had any issues. Kanger did release something, I think it's on their website, saying not to let the level of the juice get too low. So you can see there's like a bridge or a bar at the bottom of it, and I don't let the juice get below that. Right below that bar are the wicks, and I think once the juice level gets really low, that's when the flooding is most common. So as long as you don't let it get below that, you shouldn't have flooding. But I mean, I did when I first got it to test that, and I still didn't have issues with it. So I wouldn't let that be the one thing that stops you from getting the device. But if that is giving you trouble, try different e-liquids. Try adjusting the airflow to it. If it's flooding too much, maybe you have too much airflow closed off, and you need to let more air get in so it's not just liquid. But again, I haven't had any problems with flooding at all. I think this holds about 2.5 mils of liquid, which is plenty in my opinion, and just a really overall great tank. I would definitely recommend this pretty much to anybody. A new vapor, there are cheaper options. I think this in the box was around $30 to $40, so slightly more expensive. But even for a new vapor, extremely easy to use. All you got to do, it's a bottom feeding, and so you just upside down, unscrew this, drop some liquid in there, screw it back on, you're good to go. Simple as that. So even new vapors and experienced vapors alike, I think would both really like this tank. As far as the other clearomizers that I've used, this is definitely my favorite. I like this better than the Aspire BDC. I like this better than single coil clearos that I've used, and would just definitely recommend this tank. It is sweet, sexy looking. Yeah. So that's about all I've got for this one, guys. If you have any questions about how your Pro tank is working, or any questions about any other devices, feel free to leave something in the comments or message me, and I'll be happy to answer any questions. And just keep on vaping, guys. I'll talk to you later.